Om Sai Ram and humble salutations. You are watching Sadhana, the Inward Path, right here on SABC3. It's a busy weekend on the Sai calendar as devotees observe the 94th birth anniversary of Satya Sai Baba. On Sadhana today, we look at the history of the Sai organization in South Africa as it celebrates its Golden Jubilee. Pietermaritzburg is widely known as a place of much historical significance. We are reminded of Gandhi and Mandela too. I recently found out that it is also a place where the first Satya Sai Baba bhajan in South Africa was rendered in 1969. For 50 years since then, the organization has grown phenomenally in all parts of the country. Today, the Satya Sai International Organization South Africa has the largest following of Sai Baba devotees outside of India. We turn back the hands of time now to feature some of the highlights over the years and the contribution it has made to promoting spirituality in our country.
Swami blessed us immensely when in 1968 he touched the grounds of Africa, the soil of Africa, and he actually visited Uganda, Tanzania and also Kenya. And thereafter Swami had left the spark, and he came into one of the devotees' dreams, Mrs. Gela Naidu at that point. And in 1969, Swami asked her to actually start a bhajan group. And she told Swami that she doesn't have a bhajan book. And he told her, please look into your top drawer. And the next morning she did exactly that. And she found a bhajan book. And she started bhajans every Thursday. And many had dreams, many had miracles. And they came to 498 Loop Street, where the bhajans was in progression. And that is how the Midlands region and Pietermaritzburg was blessed by one candle that Swami had lit with Mrs. Gela Naidu.
All over the country there were like these pockets of people doing this, and interestingly enough, the one movement that began even that early was the bhajan. Somehow these people had a sense of they needed to organize a bhajan, and people would come weekly or monthly and participate in it. Now, in the early days, there was a lot of vagueness about this. Nobody had ever heard the term avatar, even though Krishna was an avatar, Rama was an avatar. They didn't associate that this time of humankind's affairs that we could actually know and meet an avatar. And as these groupings began to happen throughout South Africa, they were not in touch with each other. We would hear of some people in Lenasia who were doing it, and then suddenly you'll hear of some people in Pietermaritzburg and some in Benoni and some in Chatsworth. And they were all independent groupings that were somehow plugging into the impulse of what the avatar was doing.
I've come to know about Satya Sai Baba in 1975. And this was in my bad times. And when my neighbor brought a little photograph of Sai Baba and said, pray to this man and he will take care of you. And then in 1980, I've been into a house where a lot of Sai Baba miracles, manifestations were taking place. And then I got attracted to his leelas, his miracles, and started bhajans in that home, and with my family was regular there.
More and more homes began to experience the presence of this avatar through the vibhuti appearing, through the vermilion, the kumkum appearing. Letters were answered, and on the wardrobes and the walls were writings in wet vibhuti. And why it happened in certain people's homes we didn't know, but certainly in that late 70s, early 80s, it started to mushroom all over the place. It was almost like he was making his presence known to people. seemed like the bhajan activity was the power engine of this. Everybody enjoyed that. Everybody felt better after they had attended the bhajan. And as devotees began to contribute their effort, their money, their time to build this place that people could come and experience it, it now later on became known as the Sudha Mandir. And it started like as a core area. And it didn't take very long for India to find out that this was happening in South Africa. And since we were one of the bigger groupings of Indians outside of India, they started to send some communications about how to organize it, that we should have centers in areas where people lived and, you know, where this phenomenon was being observed. The individuals who took on the responsibility of shaping these centers, they almost without exception had that calling from Swami. He would inspire them, give them insights, appear in their dreams, showing them what to do. And it was like a kind of a jigsaw puzzle being put together, but nobody could see the pieces. It was coming together, and this phenomenon was solidifying and becoming a potent organization. And so the word began to spread more and more that this being was engaging people in their personal lives. It wasn't all happening in the center, but he would then direct them to the center to come and participate at whatever level. Those of us who recognized what was going on, there were quite a few of these people who took on the role of administrators for the organization. And so eventually a central council to coordinate all of these centers. And their role was to now make the encounter with the teachings of Bhagwan to come alive. And so we started to see the second phase of the avataric path. The first part was the role of the Leelas. And the Leelas were really designed to awaken you to the presence of divinity in your day-to-day life. Swami said that in the Kali Yuga, if the avatar chooses to destroy, who will survive? All are tainted by some bad. And so the methodology that has to be used is to unmake and remake man in the divine mode. And that's the whole mission that was unfolding. The teachings were done through discourses, which were collated into like different series of books. We had the Vahini series. Every discourse that he had ever given was recorded and put together into compendiums. So, and he launched a magazine called the Sanatana Sarathi, which is the spiritual magazine that served people all over the world. And Sanatana Sarathi means the eternal charioteer. So this is the indivisible, supreme, absolute, representing the knowledge that was there and making it come alive for us in this Kali Yuga. Swami initiated this process to make it a living spirituality, not a philosophy that people just talked about, but they would engage it and do it every day. And so he first started out what was called the Educare program. And the Educare program, in essence, was the unmaking of the minds of men and remaking it in the divine mode. So you could do that at a children level, which was the Balvikas program. You could do it for youth, you could do it for the ladies forum, and you can do it within the center, which were like the study circles. And so this knowledge began to be assimilated by people.
Baba has said that this body is given to serve. And as an organization, we focused tremendously on the three aspects of socio-care, edu-care, and medicare.
Centers would engage communities around them and start to enable them to live better lives, providing like water, teaching them how to grow their own food, also running little clinics to take care of their health. And that then evolved into another program called the Medicare program. So we had the Educare, then the Socio-Care, and then the Medicare. Socio-Care involved like providing capacity to communities like water, shelters, schools, etc. The Medicare was a targeted medical program that screened people, gave them the medicines, directed those that needed like further care to the hospitals. And these mobile camps would go from place to place. You know, each region seemed to have a camp like that, and there were doctors who were committed to doing this and gave their time. And so the contact of the average person who were not Sai devotees came through these programs.
Everybody loves Baba, they love Swami, and they want to do everything to please him and to obey him. And one of the main essence and teachings that Swami always said is service to man is service to God, you know. And I think keeping in that, and we found all over the world, whatever Swami did, his devotees wanted to emulate. You know, he opened hospitals, and then every country wanted to do that. And we went into the medical camps. He opened schools, and we also opened schools.
We got 3 Satya Sai schools. We've adopted 7 communities in the country. The one is in Cape Town, Kailisha, and then we got one in Embo, Malagasy, Fraser's in Tongat, and Ikopo in Richmond, Midlands are doing the Richmond project. Then we got in Joburg, Farfum and Palm Ridge.
The first seva that I went for was the Kwadabeka homes, and it was amazing. It was very sick people there, and we used to go and feed them, and we used to go into the sick room. They used to receive us so warmly, and you know, we felt they were giving us an opportunity, because we came out with such joy when we saw the looks on their faces, and you know, we were received so warmly, and I think we were extremely blessed to be in the organization and to give that opportunity. You know, I think more than the receiver, the giver gets more joy. Even when we went to the Eastern Cape, we were so warmly received. We went into the hearts of the villages and the homes, and I think it's only when you go out there you see how much you have. And when you go there, then you see there's so much more that we need to do. There is so much more that we need to do. Yes, good work is done, but there's so much more that we need to do.
Another phenomenon that seemed to have attracted a lot of attention was the blood donation camps, or liquid love. And Swami explained how the vibration of love in the blood was being passed on to other people. It wasn't just donating blood, because the attitude with which you gave it, the bhajans that were being sung, all were imbuing the blood with this vibration. And so the person was getting blood, but also this vibration of divinity.
Our Satya Sai International Organization has got a public outreach program. And the public outreach program is 4 components. One is community engagement. That's the selfless service activities that we are doing in the communities. And the other is Walk for Values, which we have done, and it's the first time in the history of South Africa that we walked the streets with placards and banners depicting the human values. And that was needed tremendously in our country with all the unrest and the violence that's taking place. So the Satya Sai organization took it upon themselves to walk the streets and depict these values, hoping that somebody out there is going to see it, take it and practice it, which will make a change in the country. And it's for the first time that we had 3,700 people walked the streets of our country in all the different provinces.
The real mission of the the Sai avatar is the opening up of the hearts of devotees and allowing them to experience this unconditional love and then radiating it to all who come into their orbit of experience. So this was a different phenomenon which he verbalized, by the way. And he said, this is really what's happening. You're being called to spread this love because it is the sustenance of the planet and the universe.
The message came out there had to be 50% of lady leaders. I was the first chairperson that was chosen, to be lead a center. And not long after, the first lady regional chairperson to be. And then I became the Ladies Forum. But the most beautiful thing is a day before I could actually become the Ladies Forum, Swami came in my dream and he told me, And the next day when I got a call to say to lead the Ladies Forum, I knew this is what I needed to do because I'd already been told by Swami himself that that's what I must do. And when he said, you must take care of the ladies, he didn't say Ladies Forum. He said, you must take care of the ladies. And I knew this is where I belong. And we went in and we worked in all these, social upliftment programs, outreach program. And it was the most amazing experience that I had. And then too, we had some very, very committed ladies, working, who gave their heart and soul. Ladies at large, we weren't given, there was a lot of obstacles, home, work, everywhere. There was a lot of obstacles. And they say only God knows the heart of a woman. Eh? And this loving God knew the heart of a woman. And while he was here, he gave us that amazing opportunity. He not only gave us, 50% leadership, but he also gave us a forum in which we can work. Because I think when we're here, we're not here to only be good wives and good mothers. We all also need to be very good citizens, and that starts at home.
It's not that you have to become an ascetic and etc., but you live a simpler, humbler, more fulfilling life where your currency now is about joy and happiness and peace rather than the material things. So he teaches, how do you let go of this material phenomenon that seems to entrap us, and how do you develop this? Every encounter with another being is an encounter with divinity. And how then do you bring this love to bear in every one of those situations? That's the mission that we are being called to enact.
South African devotees are absolutely amazing, really. Come to a project, come to anything that we do, they come forward. Like for the moon, to certain things we needed, we didn't even have to ask. They called, and offered their assistance. It was the most exciting, most historical and exciting time that we ever had. Everybody came through, sponsors came through, and we took many underprivileged children, and it brought the entire country together. It was one of the most exciting times, and the unity principle was very, very, very clear. And we had the most amazing choir, really, the songs were beautiful, and we took all South African songs. Swami, you could see by his face, he thoroughly enjoyed it. And even when some of the devotees, the Sevadars were saying it's getting a bit late, he still came down and requested for some songs also. And it was late, quite late, when he realized, and he said, you must be hungry, he showed you must be hungry, and then only he left. It was absolutely amazing. Really, it was the most beautiful program.
was 50 years from 1969 to date. And so we said we would love to honor his divine presence in South Africa. And so therefore it was a unanimous decision across the country that we hosted in Pietermaritzburg, since the first inception was in Pietermaritzburg. So many had felt and experienced Swami's omnipresence and the love that was just poured out in tenfolds in every aspect of that function.
South Africa has been truly blessed because we have had the opportunity of knowing an avatar, of being touched by an avatar, engaging with the avatar, the opportunity to follow his teachings and implement them, and then to live as examples of spiritual beings that have matured. And that's basically, Swami saying, your life is my message. How you live tells people about who Swami actually is.
Love all, serve all, and help ever, hurt never has been the clarion call of Satya Sai Baba that has echoed in the hearts of South African devotees for the past 50 years, spawning a legacy of schools, rural upliftment, social welfare and spiritual growth. A lesson for us too, to keep at your sadhana. Om Shanti.